enjoyed your lunch today. My name is Natalia Brache. I am a junior here in Carroll, Oregon, and our next speaker is going to be Mr. Manuel Maqueda. He is an international economist, attorney, entrepreneur, and environmentalist. He has participated in GIN before at Costa Rica last year, speaking about his initiative to abolish plastic use for good. He has also taken part in the production of Midway Journey, a documentary film about plastic waste eradicating bird species. Mr. Maqueda has also founded a Plasticomata, which is a series of worldwide campaigns to demand the public's right to know the dangers of plastics to the environment, animals, and human health. In his own words, he spends most of his time falling in love more and more deeply with life, magically weaving networks and opportunities, juggling attention and intention, and marveling at the mysterious and fractal nature of nature. He's without a doubt a person who has dedicated his life into changing the world. After the greatest pleasure of meeting him, I have decided to act upon his initiative of abolishing plastic use and getting used to a better life as a global citizen. I hope you're all just as excited as I am to hear such words of a wise man. Please welcome Mr. Manuel Maqueda.
Thank you so much for being here. The Plasticomata, that sort of gives away what I'm going to be talking about. But yeah, plastic, what a strange thing. Has anybody here ever spent a day of their lives without touching plastic or seeing plastic? Think about it. No, nobody. I mean, imagine all the kids being born today in a hospital near here. Probably the first thing in this world that they're going to feel is plastic. Maybe some plastic gloves. I'm going to welcome them into the world. And then maybe the first thing they're going to own is a little bracelet for identification. That is plastic too. There's some plastic toys and plastic pacifier. And then fast forward a number of decades and here's death. And sometimes the last thing we touch and the last thing we see is plastic. A few years ago, my mother died unexpectedly. It was devastating for me. And I found myself talking to the people who were going to take care of her cremation. And I asked them, what's going to happen? They said, well, we'll give you an urn with your mother's ashes in it. And I've been a plastic activist for many years, so I had to ask. It's like, are the ashes going to come in a plastic bag? And they said, yeah. And I had to say, please not put my mother in a plastic bag. It's kind of surreal. But that's how intimate, how daily, how close we are with this material, which is completely new to humanity. So there's two things about this material. We know it's very useful. We know it can be really hard, really soft, clear, shiny. We know it's really useful to us, right? But there's two things that very few people know about plastic that you're going to learn today. And they may change the way you look at plastics forever. The first one is plastic, any plastic, is a material the planet cannot digest. Just think about that. It's a material that the Earth cannot process through its natural processes of biodegradation. It's not biodegradable. It takes hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years to biodegrade. So all the plastic that you see today, whenever you use a straw, for instance, to drink water for a few seconds or a minute, that straw is going to be here for 400 years. A water bottle, 700 years. Styrofoam, 1,000 years. First notion, plastic is forever. Second notion, plastic is a secret. And that sounds kind of woo-woo. Plastic is a secret, that every plastic is a formulation that some chemical company owns. So there's no way we can know the ingredients of plastic. And a lot of those ingredients are toxic. So my journey with plastic begins in a tiny island. So before we delve into it, I want to take you to this little island in the Pacific Ocean. where I got my first-hand introduction to the subject. This is the island of Midway. Midway, as the name suggests, is in the middle of the largest ocean in our planet, the Pacific. The island is tiny. It's about 2 miles long. And I went there because of these guys, these birds. These are Laysan albatross. These are beautiful creatures that are almost as big as a duck. They're really friendly because they have no predators. The nearest continent to this island is 3,000 kilometers away. Think about it. It's a tiny island surrounded by water, one of the most remote and isolated places. These animals mate on the island, lay eggs, the chicks are born. The chicks are really cute, fluffy, stubby wings. They cannot fend for themselves, so they need to be fed by the parents. So the parents go out into the ocean, they forage for squid or those fish, they come back to the island and they regurgitate. They vomit sort of this food into the chicks' mouth. But today, there's a strange phenomenon happening there. And a lot of the chicks are dying, and when they die, their bodies rot, and then you can see what's going on. So I'll show you a trailer of a movie we are making called Midway. We need sound. Hold on just a second. Okay, let's try again. Birdies and video. Yeah. There that is more than 2,000 miles to the nearest continent.
We have the courage to face the realities of our time and allow ourselves to feel deeply enough that it transforms us and our future. Come with me on a journey through the eye of beauty. across an ocean of grief. And beyond.
Can we have the lights on, please? When there's no videos? Lights? No, please don't. No. Yes? Thank you. So I went to this island, and I cannot tell you how many times I cried myself to sleep on this island. You know, this, I guess, it's easy to imagine what is going on. These animals are mistaking food for plastic. For millions of years, they've been visual hunters. And whatever floats there in the ocean is good to eat. Not anymore. There's more plastic than food in vast expanses of the ocean. So, how many of you felt touched or sad watching this video? Yeah, it gets me every time. I mean, I've seen it hundreds of times. And how many, did anybody here feel angry? Angry, upset? Yeah, I feel like that too. So plastic, a material that lasts forever, being used for stupid things that we only need for a few seconds, a few minutes, or a few days. It doesn't make sense. It's a huge, catastrophic, bad design. And a lot of people think this is an issue of cleaning it up. Oh, we need to be better waste managers. We have to be more diligent about garbage. That's not it at all. These things have been designed to become garbage. We produce garbage because these things are designed to become garbage. Developed nations produce a lot more garbage than developing nations like the Dominican Republic. But they have built a huge business about hiding that garbage. It's very expensive too. So cleanup is not really a solution. Why? Multiple reasons. One, you're producing more and more and more and more, and you start cleaning, it's never going to end. But also plastic is not biodegradable, but it has a very nasty property. It fragments. It breaks down into small pieces that fly and travel with water, and that's everywhere. So I'm going to show you another video that illustrates what's going on with plastic.
Five of us took over an hour to clean this little beach, which is about 30 meters long, 100 feet long. We cleaned all this plastic junk, and a lot of it's tiny pieces of plastic. But okay, so the beach is clean, we think, but with each little wave, there's a little line deposit on the beach. So let's go check them out. So we just cleaned the beach, right? But look, every wave is bringing millions, thousands, hundreds of thousands, I don't know the number. Every single wave. Most of them are white, you cannot see them. But look at the size of these things. They're as big as the sand. That's plastic, that's plastic, that's plastic. So that's the scariest thing. There's no way to clean this up. Beaches of the future will be without plastic.
This is food. This is a little shrimp. This is not food, this is plastic. But that's what the fish are eating. And what the plankton are eating, microplastics. And what the entire ocean wildlife are eating.
So I don't know, the audio wasn't very good, but what I was saying there is that we just cleaned that beach, and yet I went to the shore thinking, and there was, each wave was bringing, I don't know how many, lots of tiny bits of plastic. A lot of them were the same size and color as the grains of sand. Beaches of the future will be made of plastic. And right now, any beach, every beach in the planet has plastic. Go to Antarctica, go to the most remote island, grab a random sample of sand, put it under the microscope, it has plastic. So children will never experience a beach without plastic again on this earth, at least for many generations. See, that's inconvenient. They tell me sometimes that plastic is convenient. To me, this is really convenient. There's no way we can clean this up. How many of you have heard of the Great Pacific Garbage Patch? Wow, a number of people. Great. I've been there. And that's another myth that I wanted to really quickly bust. It's not an island of plastic. It's just a soup of these little fragments. So you go there, and all you see is a beautiful expanse of blue ocean. But if you are a scientist and have a plankton net, which is a very fine net, and scoop the water, you'll find plankton and plastic, and you measure it, and there is more plastic than plankton. There's more plastic than food. That's the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. And there's many of them there in every ocean. The first one to be described actually was in the Sargasso Sea, not far away from here. So, do we need to go to Midway? No, we can go to Malecon here in Santo Domingo, or to any of the countries you're coming from, just to give examples. This is the Philippines. This is Hawaii. This is Haiti. Haiti, they had a huge humanitarian crisis, and all the aid, quote unquote aid, came to them, guess what, wrapped in plastic. So they're drowning in the waste produced by that aid. This is Haiti as well, as a riverbed in Haiti. This is Bulgaria in the European Union. This is the LA River, not far away from the famous Hollywood studios. This is Cornwall, a national park in England. This is one of the most famous sea turtle nesting beaches in El Salvador. And sea turtles now have to dig through plastic in order to lay their eggs. And this is here, 2 days ago. Exactly the same objects that you see anywhere in the world. Styrofoam cups, bottles, single-use containers, straws. This is only like 2 miles from here.
Esto es biodegradable.
This beautiful island of Hispaniola, this country of the Dominican Republic is devastated by plastic. Among other things, you know, when you live in an island, you must know that everything that comes into the island, or when you live really in any country, all the imports, you want the food and you want all the goods and the electronics and the clothes, but guess what? It comes wrapped in a lot of plastic. There's no return ticket for the plastic. You're stuck with it. So this is some of the effects of plastic on other animals. Plastic bags in the ocean look like jellyfish, so the sea turtles eat them, and that's plastic bag coming out of the anus of a sea turtle. That's the autopsy of a leatherback sea turtle. That's a green turtle in the Mediterranean, had hundreds of pieces of plastic in it. This is a sea otter in California trying to free its baby from plastic film. This is seal. This is the United Arab Emirates. Camels are dying because they eat plastic bags. This is a cow in India. Their sacred animal is dying because it's eating plastic bags. These are goats in the Sahara Desert in a refugee camp. This is an elephant in India. Died 20 pounds of plastic bags in his stomach. Sperm whale. Dolphins. Clams. And this is what fish look like if you open the guts. When you cut the fish and clean it, if you were to open the guts, you may find plastic. And this is what the fish are eating. This is a microscope image. So this is a tiny creature that is invisible to the eye. It's this marine plankton. These animals are the base of life on the ocean. And they are eating microplastics, those little things that are tinted inside of them as plastic. So what about us? First thing you need to know is if you eat fish, you're eating plastic because the entire marine food chain is contaminated. But also, I was saying earlier in the talk that plastics contain a mystery cocktail of chemicals. A lot of these chemicals are really nasty, such as bisphenol A. This is one of dozens of potentially hazardous chemicals in plastics. This one belongs to a family called endocrine disruptors. This name means that there are female hormones that mess up our hormonal system. What are these chemicals doing to us? So I'll tell you, almost every type of cancer in the like breast cancer, bladder cancer, brain cancer, liver cancer, kidney, all types of cancer are tied to endocrine disruption. Also, attention deficit disorder, learning difficulties in kids. What else? Autism, diabetes, type 2 diabetes, heart disease, obesity. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And do you recognize these are the epidemics of our time? Who here knows someone who has had cancer or has cancer? Wow. Right? So that's the reality. So the word is getting out, and more countries are banning certain additives of plastic. Again, there's no way of knowing which additive is in which plastic. But bisphenol A is getting banned. So the industry is coming up with safe plastics. But guess what? Their composition is secret as well. So there are other toxic chemicals that replace the ones that are banned that are equally or more dangerous. So every time you put food or drink in plastic, you're playing Russian roulette with toxicity. Here's the list I was looking for of problems. Autism. Yeah, I nearly forgot this one. How do we get here? Open your refrigerator when you get home, and you'll have the answer. Or go to the store and look around. I mean, we've become obsessed with convenience. Also, so much fear-mongering around germs and water. You know, they tell us that tap water is unsafe. In some places, it is not safe. You know, Haiti, here in the Dominican Republic, there's no safe water in many areas. But You can also purify your water and buy it in bulk. You don't need to buy hundreds of little bottles. So there's these big industries that have been built around our fear, our convenience, and also plastic is so cheap. It's a way of showing, being nice to the customer. Here's another bag. Here's more wrapping. Here's more packaging. Who's going to pay for it? Well, we're all paying for it. This is the cover of Life magazine in 1954, and it showed the future. And it was this amazing futurist image where everything would be disposable, throwaway. That was a radical notion in the 50s because cutlery was real and probably heirloom that you would get from your parents, and you would eat out of nice plates, and things were made to last. But this was liberating to housewives because they didn't need to do dishes anymore. So that was on the cover of Life magazine, and it's become true. We've become a throwaway culture. And this hockey stick increase is the per capita consumption of plastics. It's the aggregate consumption of plastic. Last year, 280 billion tons of plastics were produced. Half of it for packaging, for garbage. So, what do we do? Well, the industry has come up with an answer. It's people, let's recycle, let's manage all this waste. Why? Because that's a big business too. You can make a big business out of handling this situation. Instead of tackling it and bringing common sense, you create another process attached to it. And one of the things that we hear a lot is that we should recycle. I know that I believe that we should recycle things that are recyclable, such as glass or metal. When you melt glass, when you melt metal, you get a virgin material. You get a lot of melted glass and you can make bottles, and you can make whatever you want. You can make beautiful objects again. Same with metals. Temperature is very high, all the labels or additives or things that shouldn't be there get burned out, and you get a virgin material. When you melt plastic, you get melted plastic, which is a goop, all kinds of plastics, different colors, additives, chemicals. That's not very valuable. You cannot make very easily or economically other beautiful bottles to replace the ones that you recycle. So it's not true, unfortunately. When you put a bottle or something in the container, that is going to come back to you as a recycled item. Very costly, very difficult. Assuming that plastic is even going to get to the collection. So we've never recycled anything. We have contributed to the collection of recyclables. What happens to them afterwards depends on where you live, how much money the community has, what's the market for a particular type of plastic. And just to give you a figure, in some of the most developed countries in Europe, where the recycling rates are so high, more than 50% of their plastic gets incinerated. So that's not recycling when you burn it, right? Or when you export it to China, that's what is happening with it. So beware of easy solutions. This is like you're going to a doctor and the doctor telling you, take this pill, it's going to be fine. It's all right. No, there's lifestyle changes that you need to take to be healthy. And we collectively need urgently to make some major changes in the way we package, we deliver our food, our drink, etc. This is some incineration plants in China, and some of the hidden side of recycling that we don't see. A lot of countries like Japan, Japanese people are very orderly, so they put everything in the recycling container, so much that it goes straight to the landfill because they don't know what to do with it. So it just gets mixed with the rest of the garbage anyway. There's another tendency now to tell us that there's good plastics that you can make, green plastics that are biodegradable, you know? And here we've run into a lot of problems too. First, guess what? These biodegradable plastics also need additives, also need toxic chemicals, so they're not safe either. Also, when they biodegrade, these chemicals pass onto the soil, and they are less environmentally friendly to produce than oil-based plastics. It seems like a contradiction, but it's actually cheaper and less it has less of a footprint in terms of water and pollution to produce oil-based plastics, traditional plastic, which is, it was shocking for me to learn. So this is not the ticket either. And then it produces these things like this bottle, the green, it's called the plant bottle. I don't know if you can see it. The logo is like a leaf with some chasing arrows and a green bottle. And Coca-Cola is marketing this in the United States now as very environmental bottle. In the fine print there, it says up to 30% plant-based. Up to 30%. Can anybody give me a number that is up to 30%? 1? 2? What about 0.1? What about 0? So this, I mean, this is so disgusting. Up to 30% plant-based. This is marketing. And it says 100% recyclable bottle. That means that the bottle is accepted for collection in those places where there is recycling. That's all it means. It doesn't mean it's going to be recycled. So this is basically garbage, literally and figuratively. These bottles are PET, which lasts 700 years in the environment. In their formulation, they use a little bit of ethanol, which is an alcohol made with corn, which is a plant, so they call it the plant bottle, and they paint the cap green. This is called greenwashing, very serious. Real solutions. Well, guess what? This is unlike other issues that are really overwhelming. I mean, this one's pretty overwhelming too, but it's actionable. We touch plastic every day. We can reduce our plastic footprint greatly. The first step is to refuse. You are going to get offered plastics all the time. It's not about reduce, reuse, recycle, it's about refuse. Bring your own bag to the school. Take the pledge today. I'm wondering, how many of you would take a pledge today to stop using plastic bags? 3, 4. That's pretty good. You mean it. Thank you. It's easy. I haven't used one for 5 years, and I don't mix plastic bags at all. For one thing, I don't have that drawer. How many of you have a drawer at home or a locker with lots of plastic bags that you stop there thinking you'll reuse them again? Yeah. That little locker is a metaphor for the Dominican Republic or Haiti or any country in the world. You get all the plastic, and you get stuck with it. So plastic bags, sayonara, goodbye. We don't need them. We'll bring our reusable bags. Same with straws. Why do we need straw to drink a glass of water? Or a glass of juice? It's not needed. Goodbye. And bottled water. This school, I encourage you all, if you haven't noticed yet, to see the reusable stations, the refillable stations in the school. Those are awesome. And they have a little screen that tells you the thousands of plastic bottles that have been saved. Just to give you a metric, every 2 minutes in the United States or in Europe, 300 million people, more or less, 5% of the world's population. Every 5 minutes, 2 million plastic bottles get discarded, just for beverages. So just for beverages, every 5 minutes, 2 million bottles, that's 8 football fields covered. That's happening every 5 minutes in just 5% of the world population. So it gives you an idea of how massive our culture is, how big our impact is, and how big the change needs to be. So get educated. Now, after this talk, I don't consider you educated, but super educated and almost initiated, because it was for me like an initiation to get to learn what is really going on. It changed my worldview, and now you have this knowledge, this power for you, pass it on and honor it too. And take action in your home. That's step number 1. You as an individual, in your community, in your school, and demand legislation. The country of Ireland, a few years ago, they decided to put a 5-cent tax on plastic bags. The consumption of plastic bags was reduced by 90% in 1 year. Imagine if that was done in the Dominican Republic or in any of the countries you come from. Give it a value, give it a cost, and people will start bringing Not because of environmental reasons, for whatever reasons, economic reasons, they start bringing the bags. The city of San Francisco, I live in Oakland, California, near San Francisco. The city just last week banned bottled water in city property and city events. No more small single-use containers of bottled water in San Francisco. Yeah, and really a lot of the leadership is coming also from the African countries. The country of Rwanda banned plastic bags many years ago, and all kinds of plastic. If you're a tourist traveling to Rwanda, your bags get opened at customs, and the plastic gets confiscated. Also, if you are exporting goods to Rwanda, say I want to export potatoes, food, whatever, to Rwanda, by law, my goods are going to get depackaged, debaled at customs, and I, the exporter, have to take the packaging back. So people are really streamlining their packaging when they're shipped to Rwanda. Imagine if more countries do that. So there is a lot that can be done with huge impact. And also get involved with us. How many here are on Facebook? Yeah, I mean, if someone is not on Facebook, watch out, it might be an alien. Well, become friends of Plástico Mata on Facebook, follow us on the web, and we're there to help. Just share with us what concerns us, and connect with others here. There's a lot of kids here who've been doing a lot. I'll be giving a small breakout session at 5:30. So those who are interested in taking actions, come at 5:30 and we'll talk more and we'll get it done. Get rid of single-use and disposable plastics. Thank you.